Chapter 7. Straight Through the Fire. I'm starting to feel that drastic climate change Haven was talking about, Drake said. You're right, it's getting hotter, Julia said. Perhaps we're close to the underworld? Or it's the next test, Drake said. Drake, Haru, and Julia had just made it through tests with a storm, puzzles, and monsters, but had no idea what danger was ahead. I miss Arian. I keep reliving the moment he flew through the clouds so majestically, right after we saved Dragonia. If only we could go backwards. I understand how you feel, Julia said. I miss everyone in Dragonia as well. I wonder how they're doing. The palace and Perseus should be close to being fully rebuilt, Haru said. But I like to believe that they're busy preparing for the fight. If it does happen, Drake said. The temperature kept rising drastically, but there was no other sign of a test for a very long time. Until something did happen. In the time it took to blink, they were surrounded by walls of metal forming a dome. They were trapped within mere seconds. Iron shields were hung up against the walls of the metal cage. What the? Drake said, startled. Welcome, they heard someone say. The third challenge will test your resilience, your fighting spirit, and how quick and right your judgment is. Prepare to feel the heat. It was quiet for a while until the ground under their feet disappeared and they fell down fast. They kept falling until they were a decimeter away from the ground and kept floating above it. After 2 seconds, they hit the ground anyway. They were dropped down many meters and ended up in a similar metal dome. Well, that was a scare, Haru said. Something started making a snake-like hissing sound. What was that? Julia said as they were all getting up. What was what? Drake asked. That! Julia pointed at a creature in the corner of the room. That is a Komodo dragon, the voice said. Only with a little adjustment. It's on fire. A red, flaming Komodo dragon was approaching. Oh, and not to forget, it can spit fire too. You could have told that a little sooner, Haru yelled after he was almost turned to ash. Then I have one more tip. Iron melts, wood burns. Good luck. What does that mean? Haru asked. That our weapons are useless, Drake said. So how are we dealing with this? Julia asked. The Komodo dragon kept spitting fire while they kept having to dodge it. In the meantime, they tried to come up with a solution. After a while, Drake saw a way out. The ceiling, he said. There's a glass hatch with water behind it. That should work. How do we get there? Julia asked. Cover me, I'll climb up. You can scale that? The cracks in the walls aren't there for nothing. Drake tried to scale the wall while Haru grabbed one of the shields from the wall. Hey, salamander, this way, Haru said to try and get the creature's attention. The Komodo dragon came towards Haru and started spitting fire. Haru was able to protect himself, but the shield was about to melt away. Come on, Drake. Drake slipped but managed to grab the hatch handle before he fell. The hatch opened and water entered the room. As soon as the water engulfed the Komodo dragon, it turned to stone. Drake landed in the streak of water. Haru took a few steps towards the petrified creature and kicked it against its head, but the stone statue hurt his foot. Haru started cussing, grabbed his boomerang and tried to chop off its head. Such aggression, Julia said. Haru could not cut through the stone. Well, at least that's over, Drake said. At that exact moment, the floor disappeared again and they fell down. Not again, Haru yelled. Again, right before hitting the ground, they started floating for a few seconds until they landed after all. Should have seen that coming, Julia said. The voice sounded again. In this test, you will have to try to get to the other side. That shouldn't be too hard, Haru said. The way ahead seemed harmless, but it was not until statues of dragon heads broke free from the walls and started spitting fire that the danger increased. You had to say it, Drake said. And here's another tip. Keep in mind to not only look forward. Drake understood the tip clearly and looked behind him. We have to go now, he said. What is it? Julia asked. Lava! They started running, while lava slowly came their way. They had to keep running or the lava would catch up. Ouch! Julia was hit by a beam of fire and burnt her elbow. You alright? Drake asked her. Yeah, for now. We gotta keep going. Drake stood still for a moment to try and see if there was a pattern. Drake, what are you doing? I think I see a pattern. Follow me. Haru and Julia trusted Drake with knowing the way and the timing. Drake managed to get a grip of the timing and knew what to do. Drake ordered them to wait, to roll underneath, to jump, to run, and even to go back once. Without many more burns, they managed to get to the other side. That wasn't too hard, Haru said. Yeah, you had me, Drake said. Not hard? Well, be prepared for what's next, the voice said. They started falling down once again. Oh, come on, Haru said, frustrated. Once they made it to the next elevation, something was different. The metal walls were gone, and they were now standing on a flat stone platform. They were on the bottom of a ravine and surrounded by lava. They ended up so far down that the temperature was almost unbearable. A few more platforms were floating on top of the lava. Oh great, parkour, Drake said sarcastically. These platforms shouldn't even be able to float on lava. They looked around. Okay, this is the plan. Dangerous but simple. We need to make it to the other side. Bet you thought long and hard on that one, Haru said. I'm gonna assume that's a joke, Julia said. No, I kind of told you it was simple. They got ready to jump to the next platform. This is suicide, Haru said. The heat made Haru and Julia weaker, but it changed Drake in a different way. In his eyes, the light of the lava reflected. The fire in his eyes was apparent. It was like the element of fire gave him strength. The first platform came by. Jump, Drake said. They jumped on the platform before it drifted away. Ouch! Haru almost touched the lava and burned his heel when he landed too close to the edge. Hot, hot, hot! Guys, the platform behind us is sinking, Drake pointed out. We have to do this right in one go. There's the next one, Julia pointed out. They made a leap and managed to get onto the next platform. Suddenly another platform rammed them, and their platform broke into 3 parts. That way they all got separated. It seemed to have been planned and couldn't happen naturally. Oh no, this is not going the right way, Drake said. What do you mean? Haru asked. Look in front of you. An abyss lay ahead. The lava had turned into a deadly river, pulling them towards the abyss. Hold on! They fell down, and because the difference in height wasn't too much, they all managed to stay on their platforms and dodge the splashes of lava. Another one! They fell again, even deeper this time. Somehow they managed to land safely again. It's not stopping, Julia said. Keep your balance, Drake said. The third abyss came close. This one was deeper than any, and because of the speed, Julia lost her balance. She fell off her platform. Drake and Haru had already landed on a ledge, and Drake managed to grab Julia's hand in time. Drake, Julia said, frightened. I can't hold on, Drake said fearfully. Haru tried to reach for Julia's other hand, and Julia reached for his. Haru managed to grab her other hand, but couldn't hold on for much longer and let go. The heat had weakened him much more than it had weakened Drake. Haru tried to reach for her hand again, and once he got a hold of her hand, they tried to pull her up with all their might. Together they were strong enough to get Julia onto the ledge safe and sound. They all tried to catch her breath. That was quite the scare, she said when she could breathe properly again. I owe you guys, thank you. You're welcome, Drake answered laboriously. Let that be the end. Please let that be the end, Haru said. A few minutes later they were making their way through the only passage available. There's light, Haru said. That has to be the exit. Once they stepped into the light, Haru said, I couldn't be more wrong. Julia was startled and screamed while she dodged a huge flaming tail. Is my hair on fire, Drake? It's fine, your hair is fine, but we're all about to be less fine. The creature that swung its tail started roaring loudly. Dragon! The dragon that attacked them was engulfed in flames just like the Komodo dragon. It had dark red scales and its tail had razor-sharp spikes. Its eyes were just like Drake's, flickering like fire, though full of anger. They were once again in a metal dome there was no escaping from, seemingly. Drake told them to split up. There's absolutely no way out, Haru yelled. The gargoyles, Drake pointed out. Gargoyles? Julia replied in confusion. On the walls up high. Gargoyles were always used to transport water. It only makes sense. There are targets and handles too. It's so obvious. I can hit that easily, but you have to distract the dragon, Julia told them. Alright, I'm on it, Drake replied. So obvious. Maybe a little too obvious? The dragon kept swinging his tail at the others. Drake dodged it but didn't realize it came back right away. Drake received a huge blow with a flat part of the dragon's tail. Drake! Julia and Haru both shouted at the same time. Julia shot an arrow at the dragon, but it had no effect, except for the beast now turning to her. Oops, she said. Drake was trying to get up. His head was hurting a lot. In the meantime, Haru managed to move a few handles with his boomerang, but nothing happened. I think they all need to be activated for it to work, he pointed out. Drake ran towards Julia. Go activate the gargoyles. I'll take on this fella, Drake told her. Careful, she said. I'll try. The dragons focused on Drake again. It opened its jaws and started spitting fire. Drake dodged the beam of fire and hid behind a boulder. Drake, Haru shouted. That's all. Nothing happened. What? Drake said, taken aback. But... Drake showed himself and expected to be facing the dragon, but the monster had already turned to Haru. Haru, behind you! The dragon opened its jaws and snatched Haru. Haru was caught by surprise and couldn't dodge it, but in the nick of time he was saved and disappeared without a trace. Where did he go? Julia asked, thunderstruck. Drake slightly knew what happened to Haru, and decided to ignore it. The dragon was relentless. It kept attacking. The dragon hit Julia with its tail and she got knocked back a few meters. Once again, they were lucky enough the dragon hit her with the flat part of its tail instead of the spiky part. When Julia recovered, she noticed something and told Drake to come. "Drake, here!" Drake ran towards her but was too late. The dragon managed to snatch Julia too, and the moment she got in contact with the monster's teeth, she disappeared as well. Drake looked at what happened in great fear but knew that they had to be safe. He then realized what Julia was talking about. The gargoyles were all just an elaborate ruse, and a simple hidden hatch proved to be their only way out. Drake opened it and found a tube leading away from the dome, but before he could jump in, the dragon opened its massive jaws and spit fire once more. Drake didn't have time and turned around, making a cross with his arm. The fire was blocked, somehow. The flames couldn't breach, and Drake was left unscathed. The dragon didn't have breath left, so he stopped spitting fire. Drake jumped in the tube and escaped right before the monster tried to burn him again. While Drake was sliding down, he thought of what had happened just then. He thought the god of the test saved him and blocked the fire, and that's what he went with, but it wasn't exactly true. It was not even closely true. They finally escaped, away from any monsters, fire, or lava. Although, Drake was the only one who really escaped. "Well done!" Drake suddenly heard the voice again, and it was revealed who it was. Hephaestus appeared before him. "Very well done." "Hephaestus." "Indeed, and don't worry about your friends. They're safe." "That's a relief." "In fact, let's get them, shall we?" Haru and Julia appeared out of nowhere. "What? Who? What? Was? Where? What?" Haru was extremely disordered. "What was that?" Julia asked. "Well, you died," Hephaestus answered. "Or almost died. You're safe now, and your friend made it out." "I remember giant teeth," Haru said. "I think I was about to get eaten." "My apologies," Hephaestus said. "Please don't let that happen again. Please," Haru said. "You all did well, though. Drake, you have shown me outstanding resilience and bravery. I think it's fair to say you deserve what I am about to give you." A red source of light appeared before them. It moved towards Drake, surrounded his body, and dissolved. "The power of fire. Use it correctly." "Thank you, Hephaestus." "Yeah, good luck on your quest." "Oh, Hephaestus, wait. What is it?" "It was you who blocked the fire, right?" It was quiet for a few seconds. "Yes," Hephaestus answered. But this was a lie. "Alright, thought so. See you soon, children." Hephaestus vanished. "So did we really just die?" Julia asked. "I'm afraid so," Drake replied. "We have to be careful. From now on everything is real. If we die, we die." The tests of air, flora, and fire were over. The time came to once again fight the darkness. Ready to use their powers wisely, well, and correctly, they were determined to save Dragonia once again. They were still unsure if Mordor was still stuck in the underworld, but they had faith. With high hopes, they headed further north, to the underworld, to prevent the worst. Afterwards at Haven. "Haven! Hephaestus, what brings you to me?" "We have to talk. It's about Drake." "What about him?" "Who is he really?"